eating every 2 or 3 hours, it makes your body more used to using sugar as a main source of energy and not fat. And again, look at every healthy individual in the world. How do they eat? On average, they eat once or twice a day. Some actually even less than that. There's multiple meals a day. It's a recent invention. It's only been around for the past maybe 100, 200 years. According to research, it started in England, actually. I think Queen Elizabeth, if I'm not mistaken. But anyways, that's not important. Your energy goes up. By the way, the last meal I had was last night. And I feel like $1 million. Why? The energy goes up due to the fact that I don't have to digest food all day long. Okay, because when you eat constantly, a lot of your energy goes toward digestion. Okay, and by eating less often, less food to digest, and even if you have to have lunch, I would recommend to eat a light lunch if you're hungry, obviously. Your focus improves. I laugh every time I see those commercials about kids eating so they can be more focused. What studies have shown, and again, you guys can look it up, your focus improves. As a matter of fact, they've done tests that your IQ goes up with hunger, which makes sense, by the way. You actually can think more clearly when you're hungry than when you're full. It normalizes your leptin and insulin sensitivity. Obviously, insulin everybody's aware of, but leptin is a hormone that basically tells your brain that you're full. What has happened is because we're eating constantly without being hungry, the body keeps releasing the hormone, and because we have abundance of the hormones floating around, the brain has learned to ignore it, basically builds a resistance to it. Prolonged periods without food, that's 16 hours without eating, it makes your brain more sensitive. What that means? You get fuller easier, and you're not hungry all day long. Because when I tell people that, I would say 4 days out of the week I don't eat during the day at all. Oh, you're starving all day? I'm like, no, I'm not hungry. There's no will involved here. I don't have to will myself not to eat. I'm not hungry. And you'll find, actually, once you learn to eat out of hunger, which unfortunately that's something most people don't even recognize, they don't even know what hunger is, actually. We're mistaking hunger for other things. Like, oh, we get a headache. Oh, that's a sign I'm hungry. Matter of fact, if you're hungry and you're having a headache, you're not hungry. It's actually a withdrawal that your body's going through. True hunger, you just have the sense that you want to eat, but there's no pain. Actually, in fact, you feel good. And the question I always tell my clients to ask themselves before they eat, to make sure they're hungry, would you be able to indulge in a piece of stale bread? If the answer is no, you're not hungry then. True hunger, you don't care what you're eating. I can tell you, every time I go home, I don't care what my wife cooked. I'm hungry. Anything is good. Of course, we all have our favorites, but anyways, and bad food becomes not as bad. Okay, and I can tell you an experiment that I did. Everybody's familiar with the Supersize Me? Okay, Mr. Spurlock, he went to McDonald's for 1 month eating breakfast, lunch, and dinner. He got overweight and very sick. Okay, back in 2011, I did a similar experiment. Okay, I went to McDonald's myself. I ate cheeseburgers, hamburgers, Big Macs, all the good stuff. With one exception. I ate only when I'm hungry. I ate slow and mindful. And I stopped eating when I satisfied my hunger. Ooh, what a concept. Stop eating when you're satisfied. I did it for 2 months though. So for 2 months I was going to McDonald's. Less cooking for my wife. It was really good. And what happened I did my before and after blood work. And what happened to me after 2 months of eating this way? Nothing. Remember, my cholesterol went down. It was 168, went down to 158. My weight went down 3 pounds. Again, insignificant. But the point is, I'm not trying to say McDonald's is good for you, by the way. McDonald's is still not the greatest food. The point I was trying to make is that bad food will not affect you the same way if you follow and listen to your body. So, obviously I wasn't eating breakfast at McDonald's because I'm not hungry in the morning. So, to me, it's like, how many of us, before we eat, we stop and ask, am I hungry? What am I eating? Nowadays, we're eating for any other reason except hunger. We eat because we're bored, we eat because we're stressed, we eat because, basically, eating has become entertainment. And the sad truth is, whether we like it or not, every time you put food in your mouth, even if it's an apple, if you're not hungry, that food is bad for your body. Obviously, an apple is a much better choice than the chocolate, yes. But still, the best choice would have been not to eat if you were not hungry. And that's something, unfortunately, is not taught. Now you can see why, in spite of all this diet, we're still losing the weight loss battle, because the most important thing, which is hunger, every single healthy region around the world teaches in the culture, and yet nobody's teaching. Okay? Again, we're going to have a whole seminar just on hunger, but I'm going to move on.